Red Bull Army, undeniable win today from the free practice sessions in Japan. If you look at Yuki Tsunoda, he's just 1/10 of a second off from Max Verstappen. Now, a lot of the commentators said that this was partly due to the fact that Max Verstappen doesn't like to have, I think the word was turbo, his turbo's on until free practice 3 because he doesn't want to wear down the car, wear down everything. Okay, that's fine. Still, even let's say that the difference in that is 0.3, 0.4 seconds. That's what the commentators were saying, like Julian Palmer. That's still a 0.3, 0.4 second difference between Yuki Tsunoda and Max Verstappen. This is an incredible result by Yuki in his first free practice, and I'm feeling more confident than ever that Yuki Tsunoda is going to be winning the Japanese Grand Prix. Now, a couple of notes. Now, if you look at free practice 2, Yuki Tsunoda is down here in 18th, while Isaac Hadjar had a great run at 3rd, and even Liam Lawson's at 5th. So people say a lot that free practice doesn't matter, and I think that this is both true and not true, right? It doesn't matter in that these standings don't matter in any sort of real form. And I think that you have to actually watch the free practice to understand what happened, to give all of this context, right? They do matter in that, like, if you do watch it and you see people on similar flying laps, obviously people push much more in qualification, but it still gives you a good sense of where the drivers are. All that being said, if you actually watch free practice 2, you'll see that this is really just because of because of track degradation, and also because of all the red flags. Basically, what happened was we had 2 red flags during the race. Yuki Tsunoda, put up his time. He stayed in his pit for much longer than everyone else, so that he went out again in order to put a lap in order to do another practice. He had already put in 12 laps, so he was just like, hey, I'm going to wait a little while to do this. And then in the middle of his flying lap, they called another red flag. So this isn't indicative of his performance. It's just that everybody else was able to do this most recent lap, and he wasn't able to do that, right? If you actually look at the times, before this last lap, he was around 6th and 7th, which again, for somebody who just got into this car, is an incredible result, in my opinion. This guy's going to learn this car so much more tomorrow or today with free practice 3, and then I think that in qualification, he's going to end up probably in 3rd or 4th. I feel very confident with that prediction. Now, one more general point that I want to bring up is that I've been banging the drum, and people in my comments have been attacking me for this, but I'm standing by this, that the reason why Max Verstappen wanted Liam Lawson in the second Red Bull seat is because he wanted to sabotage the team. He wanted to point to the fact that the car sucked, for the fact that he just doesn't feel the fire anymore, and he wants to look like the good guy for leaving Red Bull to go to Mercedes. As we can tell, man, the car doesn't suck. Yuki Tsunoda had an incredible time. And again, the turbo thing, whatever. I think that when we actually get to the race, Yuki Tsunoda is going to qualify ahead of Max Verstappen. And one more thing that I think is very telling is that, and one more shout out that I have to give to Yuki, is that I watched the F1 broadcast. During the F1 broadcast, at one point, they aired Yuki's radio, and the guy was like, hey, how's it going? He's like, man, I love driving this car. And then they aired Max Verstappen's radio, and Max was just like, I'm struggling, this sucks, this is terrible. And at that moment, they were putting in the same time. I think that Max is just being a diva for the fact that he was in the 2023 car that was just destroying everybody, and now he's in just a normal car, and it's not, he's used to that incredible car when that only comes around once in a while. While Yuki Tsunoda just came from this Racing Bulls car. It's like, this car is amazing. Finally, one more note about Yuki that I really liked is that he said at one point, his engineer got in and said, hey, you're 0.5 away from Russell. Which most drivers, pretty much every driver, would be like, yeah, I'm in second place or whatever. Yuki was like, hey, let's just focus on my race. This shows an incredible amount of maturity. My critique of Yuki over the past couple of years has been the guy hasn't been mature. He hasn't been like an actual mature driver that he wanted in Formula 1. He is showing that maturity. So all this to say, I think it's clear that Max is sabotaging the team. Max wants to look like the good guy for leaving. Yuki's not going to let him because Yuki's going to do wonders in this car. Then people are going to turn to Max and be like, Max, you say this car is shit. Yuki's getting 3rd. Yuki's getting 4th. The car's not bad. It's you, mate. And Max is going to end up having to look like the bad guy when he goes to Mercedes or Aston Martin. I think Aston Martin. Anyway, let me know what you think about free practice 1, and I'm excited for the Japanese Grand Prix qualifying.